not too sure. He is on the delivery, and you have to work out where it's going to land. Last minute, he thrust himself forward, launched himself into a good position and got his fingers underneath it. But the quality of Rabada, he's good at the top, he's good in the middle, and he's got some wonderful variations at the back end. Nice catch from Yaneman Malan, and that's so important. Two men who were looking good for Bangladesh have to be on their way. Mahedi goes for 38, 181 for 8.
Just checking the shot there, and this will be more of relief than anything else for Malan. He's normally a quality fielder, got put off by Temba Bavuma at second slip when he was at first. Dropped one. Well, I don't know if you can say it's dropped if you don't get hands to it, volley. And then a fantastic catch. And that man, Rabada. Another fifer.
He bowled well too. Shariful Islam. Really good addition to this side.
What about a Yorker up front? No, he wants some bowling fingers there, does he? That's the end of Rabada's 10. Bangladesh 181 for 8.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant from Khisar Rabada. Yeah, high fives, hugs, everything, pats on the back, whatever you want, because he's been superb, led right from the front. 5 for 39, Khisar Rabada, excellent figures, and it's a second fiver in one-day internationals. Got it going on the front.
Yeah, I think as I mentioned just now, that's the key to KG, isn't it? He strikes up front, you bring him back in the middle, you can look him to pick up wickets and break partnerships, and at the back end he's normally a pretty good exponent of the Yorkers and slow balls and the variations. And it's been another display. It's a man who just keeps picking up wickets. Fantastic performer for his country. Oh!
Yeah, and sides that have these superstars within their ranks. Oh, that finger again. It's amazing how it goes. Finger, whatever you want. The ball seems to hunt it down. You keep getting hit there.
That's quite an important position, that short wicket to a left armer. Surprising that he's put himself in such a busy position.
Yeah, I was going on about if you have these superstars on your side, the expectation of them is that much higher than from everybody else. And so what tends to happen is that you go with, oh, he's not going so well. And then you look at the numbers that he's put out, and they're not bad. They're actually really good. Somebody else would kind of jump at having those numbers, and yet it's still not quite that superstar's numbers. It's the case very much with Rabada when we talk of him being slightly off colour every now and again.
He's got 9 in 2 matches, hasn't he? Was it 4 for in the first match?
Yeah, second fifer in one-day internationals. The first was against Bangladesh. It was on debut. Got a hat-trick in that one. Says, as if and when he does well, rips through sides. In South Africa are quite comfortable. They would rather. Maharaj done for the day as well. None for 57 today. It's 184 for 8.
The most impressive thing in those stats, I mean, the average is good, the amount of wickets, the fifers that he's got, it's the strike rate, 32 deliveries. It shows how often he gets the business done for South Africa.
The other impressive number there is his first number up front, 26. I think think how long he's got to go, how many records he's going to break. Go.
Listen, Giddy. 1 for 27. He's been pretty good today as well.
These batters aren't going to dingle-dangle around, are they? They let in the bat go at absolutely everything. Not running between the wickets either. No, it's just looking for boundaries.
If you're a fast bowler, yes, you want wickets. Don't you want to send a little message there as well? Just have a little rap on the gloves. Maybe that's just the batters being extra aggressive here.
That's spoken like an opening batter.
Yeah, let's look at him upstairs.
Yeah, very much thinking.
Definitely on this wicket, because those three are going to be a handful, let me tell you. I think they've got out of jail here with 185. That's a target on this wicket. South Africa going to have to bat really, really well against those three quicks up front as well.
I just think the surface gets better after it's been baked for 4 hours and then the heavy roller comes on. I've seen quite a few to have a little bit more than what the batters in the second innings have to deal with. I think it would be the case. We'll have to wait and see. And if it is so, then Quinton de Kock obviously will try and apply the aggression and put Bangladesh under pressure. But they bowled nicely. They bowled similar to what they did the other night, and the surface behaves like it did for South Africa with those two new balls. It could be competitive. Might have some back issues the way they're swinging out there.
I think the biggest thing, I mean, we know how well they batted the other day. The biggest thing for them, and Bangladesh always wanted to compete away from home. They talk about competing, being one of the best nations around. And there's always been, all the different coaches have come in and said, listen, you've got to play away from home. You can't compete away from home unless you've got the firepower. You look at the firepower that was on offer at Supersport Park. That bodes well for Bangladesh. That's how you compete away from home. And we saw it in the Test arena as well. Competing away from home in New Zealand. Eberdot bowling some great areas, some great spells.
Oh, nice shot.
Is it that finger again? Not quite left-hand side this time.
There's a little fielding position called short fine leg. When the guys are backing away as much as they are, nothing tends to go there.
Yeah,
that's maybe where Timber needs to go post himself.
But he must blame the captain for putting him there, I think.
Tell you what, it doesn't matter where he puts himself. If he goes to short fine leg, it's going to go to him. And that's only because he's got a sore finger.
He did one there, well there, just to get the one left hand that's not damaged.
Who's it gone to? Take a guess. 187 for 8.
I don't think his captain likes him.
His captain's going to bring him on to bowl as well.
So we're talking about the one over that needed to be bowled by someone. Temba Bavuma had been doing the job, 6 overs, 0 for 22. Well, it's going to be Rassie van der Dussen.
I reckon Skipper's bailed out here.
His fingers strapped.
None for 22. Fingers looking quite nice, not fingers. Rossi, you have a go.
Yeah, I think if you look at all the bowling, so what you do, you left arm orthodox, fast medium, fast bowlers. I think here you've got to put a full right arm over the wicket.
But this is an important over because often in the dressing room, discussions go on and the batters have a go about you guys should do this or you should be more accurate. This is your opportunity. You're on the big stage. Let's see it, Rassie.
I guarantee you he's going to pick up a wicket, Polly. He should have been bowling earlier.
Let's have a look. What's he got? It's got sweeper offside, long off, long on, deep mid wicket and deep backward square. He'll you feel that. Well done, Dot.
That's a good start,
It's a good result.
Well, what you can do there, if you bowl a bad one, you just look at the footholds. You scratch the footholds like you slipped. So he's learned from a couple of the bowlers, or you go for a one, then you look at.
সবাই ফলো করে দেন, হাফ এর সময় লাইভ অফ থাকবে, হাফ এর পরে আবার আমরা আসবো হাফ টাইম পরে।
Got many scars. Worried about
and issues.
Here it is.
Here we go.
Out! He's got it! Oh! Rossi Van He's got a wicket!
Where's he been? Where's he been?
Yeah, it was timed pretty well, but it's the massive boundary. Shariful got the contact he was sort of after. Aidan Markham situated himself, gets into position early. Length delivery, drags it across, and then it's, is it going or is he out? Is it going or is it out? Markham steadied himself. He's got some good hands. Takes a hold of it. And Rassi van der Dussen has his first international wicket.
Comfortable in the end. Yeah, Shariful asking himself the question, oh, I should have got that out of the ground. It's 188 for 9.
I always said it's just about hitting areas.
Hello guys.
Rassi van der Dussen, what a couple of months he's had. Unbelievable knock the other night. Vern likes talking about momentum. That's just a little one to the column where he had nothing.
Well, if he continues to bat like he has, and he gets a decent score today, gets man of the match, we'll say, for his all-round performance, Rassi van der Dussen.
Mustafizur Rahman. He'll swipe at a couple. And it's just the one wicket to go, so Rassi van der Dussen has the opportunity here with 4 balls to go to get another.
যারা পেজে ফলো দেন না তারা ফলো করে দেন। খেলার পরে যে বিউটিগুলো হবে ওই বিউটিগুলো মানে আমরা আবার লাইভ করব।
Of preservation, I suppose. Nice for none a dot. One of the great overs at the back end of an innings. Spare a thought for Maharaj. Frontline bowler into the side has gone for nearly 60 to 10. In comes Van der Dussen with what you call the Macfield these.
Just like the way he's mixed it up this over. Wide of the crease, really using the surface.
Oh goodness. Not going to hear the end of it either. Not that you won't tell the story, you will, but so will Rassi. He's got 1 ball to go. He's gone for just 2 and has taken a wicket as well. Easy game this for him, bowling at the death.
Yeah, you know you get better and better the longer you've retired. Probably say he bowled in a one-day game at the back end. Bangladesh were firing it at the Wanderers here. Got a 1 for, got us back in the game. Well done, Rassi van der Dussen. 190 for 9.
He didn't quite hit in the middle. Leaning back, didn't get the power in. And Markram making absolutely no mistake. Plays perfectly and pouches it comfortably. Couldn't believe it. Sorry, Paul.
Like and follow please.
So it's Benny Tunzi. It's Universe South Africa. To her left is Colin Ferguson. Acting royalty in South Africa. All in support of the pink drive, pink day of course, breast cancer awareness. A really good cause, and it is the 10th anniversary. Giddy for the final one. He's had a good day as well, Lungi Giddy. In game 1 for South Africa, it really was a case of not making the advantage pay. They bowled well up at the front, and for the first 15, maybe 20 overs were in control of the game. And just when you thought they'd throw the killer punch, were not able to do that. And Bangladesh came back through Shakib Al Hasan. Today, having got to 190, nearly 200, Bangladesh will be happy with their recovery. But it's not so much of an inability to throw that killer punch today, it's the fact that a bowler goes down. And it was critical the time that Parnell limped off injured. And what he'd shown us in the couple of overs and 5 balls he bowled was that he too was going to present difficulty. So a little gap there for Bangladesh, which they took through a couple of partnerships. That'll be wide. Understand the thinking. Left-hander trying to swing the ball out the ground. Get outside that arc. He tempted to go right at the stumps as hits the guys down the lower end. Probably be better to go right at the stumps.
I think he's taken away his bumper option. He's got fine leg up, bowling to number 11. Number 11's thinking, no, it's only going to be slow balls. You almost get into a better position. You've got to know him. So I can still go upstairs.
That's up in the air, will be safe. No, just. Oh, what an effort. What an effort that is. It's Markham running back. Top work that. In the end, if you'd taken it, would be some spectacular catch. Couldn't quite, having stuck out the right hand.
It would have been one of the best catches I would definitely have ever seen that. He looked at third man, he saw third man, Rabada wasn't going to get there. Stuck out that big paw.
দেখি সবাই বলেন কত রান টার্গেট দিয়ে বাংলাদেশ কাটটা মিলে দেখি
Got fingertips to it, that would have been an unbelievable piece of fielding.
লাস্ট 3 বল বাকি
I thought you were going to go with 2 hands for beginners, man.
Polly was going.
Don't worry about that. I was just interested at the follow through of Lungi and Giddy in the last delivery. It's just like an off spinner. What worked his way? Yeah, he's worked his way well off the playing surface. There's plenty of off cutters and slow balls from Ngidi at this stage.
No ball. Oh, whoopsie. I was giving him a single. Yeah, pull up my socks. Figurative. Also just taking some time to breathe there.
The old Roger Telemarcus used to call you to come have a little chat, move the fielder a meter, move him back a meter, just to give himself a little bit of time to think, a bit of a breather, some gamesmanship. Top performer, Rog.
The overrate has been better. South Africa today. It was a horrid game number 1. Took ages to bowl. Swing and a miss to finish off.
রান নিতে পারলেন না 195 রানের টার্গেট
Bangladesh end 194 for 9, having won the toss here at the bull ring and decided that they'd back first. The last 10, 40.
just use the run for an extra pace. In that sort of line there.
Yeah. Fortunate boundary.
Swing, thick outside edge. Bangladesh 170 for 6.
to the second Betway one-day international between South Africa and Bangladesh. Pink day here at Imperial Wanderers, and that's what South Africa need to square the series. It's 195, and it looks a meager score, but when you consider Bangladesh with 34 for 5 at one stage on a spiteful pitch, the fact that they recovered to the 194 for 9 that they posted is great credit to them. And also, African perspective, the absence of Parnell, who broke down after bowling two overs and 5 deliveries, meant that Bavuma had to bowl 6 of those overs, and even Rassie van der Dussen bowled an over right at death where he got a wicket. And South Africa, well, they would have certainly wanted to be chasing less given the early advantage. It's not to be, so they've got to gird their loins and go out there and fight their way to 195. And Vernon Philander and Atta Ali Khan, the score, if the pitch plays the same way, could be a bit of a challenge.
Well, that's exactly what Bangladesh frontline bowlers will be feeling. Just Quinton de Kock comes back in, and he's an attacking player with strike rate of 95 plus. And if they can manage to pick up early wickets, I think that's the key for Bangladesh. They've got to be in an attacking frame of mind. It'll be interesting to see how Tamim Iqbal, the skipper, goes about his job as a captain, especially trying to defend this total of 194. Shoriful Islam was pretty impressive. He was the one who broke through early in the innings in that first match, only 20 years of age, having a bit of a chat with Tamim Iqbal. And that's exactly what he would be telling these youngsters. Go and get an early wicket for me.
Just use the run for an extra pace. In that sort of line there.
He's learnt the leg cutter, and in the shorter format you almost have to have that ability to bowl the different variations, and you can
play with strike rate of 95 plus. And if they can manage to pick up early wicket.
Janneman Malan, that's his natural way of playing.
It's only his 16th match, but already he's stamped his authority on cricket, particularly the 50-over version, averaging in the 60s. A little bit of extra bounce. That's what we saw with that new ball this morning with Rabada and Ngidi. And even just a little bit from Parnell. There was extra bounce, and it led to the demise of that Bangladeshi upper order. South Africa will be mindful of that and just how to cope with it.
That there will be an chance available, but more important as far as the bowlers, can he maintain a good line and length at each and every delivery.
Yeah, I think it's really pacing in an area. I think South Africa's bowlers were really good up front, set the tone early, hit the wicket hard, got the ball through to the keeper, made life really uncomfortable for the Bangladeshi batters. Just have a look at that surface again. A couple of those cracks starting to open up here as well. So they'll definitely be in play this afternoon. But the key word is going to be consistency.
Just want to go to your point about both these two batsmen being by nature aggressive players, Vernon. Now, given the score chasing and given how they saw the new ball play in the power play, do they play that aggressive way, or do they go, hang on, we just need to absorb a bit of pressure, let the ball get softer, when scoring will become easier outside the power play?
That's a very good point you're making there, Brett. I think I'll probably be a little bit cautious with the ball in a good length. Probably respect that. As soon as the bowlers are going to come straight at them, they'll definitely look to score. It's also the point when chasing a low score, you can very, get lulled into being a little bit over defensive up front. I just think with these two and the way they play, they're going to try and put the pressure back onto the Bangladeshi bowlers quite early to give themselves a bit of fire up front here.
It's a good start by Shoriful. He's bowled good pace, mid-130s. Shown good control as he exhibited at Supersport Park on Friday. The end of the first over, it's 2 for none. Malan's been in form, as you can see, but all those averages are very, very good indeed. Verena's just a fledgling career, only his 11th match. Rassie van der Dussen is beyond the pale, 34 games and averaging 75.2.
Yeah, have a look at the averages of the top 6 batters there. 60, an average of 63, 46, 48. So everybody among the runs, and they've done well. And they'll be hoping that they can get a really good start in. Not Bangladesh. Bangladesh will be hoping the man on screen, Taskin Ahmed, fires up once again. I thought he was a pick of the bowler. 3 for 36 in that first match.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Taskin. Recently done a series in Bangladesh with Pakistan. He's been bowling with some good control, good pace as well. I think if Bangladesh are to make inroads, they'll certainly turn to him and look to him to really be the bowler to fire up this attack.
I've seen version 2.0. That's not the start he wanted.
He's probably just looking to swing it away from the left-hander. With the surface, it just kept on going away. Ended up as a wide ball. He'll get into his work, Brett.
I'd expect so after... I mean, he was brilliant the other night. He was the bowler, the seam bowler of both sides on Friday night. With his pace and with his control. Oh, it's in the air. There's the bounce off the shoulder of the de Kock bat. So even though the South Africans have played on this pitch many, many times, the extra bounce is proving disconcerting for them as well.
Yeah, he's just never in on the surface. And again, you see that steep bounce with a new ball. Luckily for Quinton de Kock, it lands in no man's land. But immediately the Bangladesh bowlers will feel that there's something to work with.
It will be encouraging for Taskin and for the skipper Tamim Iqbal. Big appeal, big appeal. No, says Maria Erasmus. Immediately it goes to Tamim Iqbal to see if there's referral time. Are they talking about it? Is a question? Oh, yeah, I think he's gone upstairs. He's going upstairs.
Well, my initial thought is this is pitch outside leg stump. Let's have a look.
Third umpire to director, we have a for LBW. The original decision is not out. I've checked the front foot and it's a fair delivery. Okay, we go on to front on spin vision.
Beautiful proud seam.
Okay, it doesn't appear to be any bat. Can we go to ultra edge?
Going through the protocols, is there an edge?
Just keep rolling, right?
No, there's no edge.
The ball passes the bat. I'm satisfied there's no bat involved. Can we go to ball tracking when ready?
Where does it pitch? Where does it pitch?
Copy, waiting for ball tracking.
First instinct is that it's pitched outside leg stump. Confirmation will be available shortly.
Ball tracking coming up. Original decision not out. Pitching outside leg. Maria, you can stay with
lost,
your
and it's not a great review, gentlemen.
Not out. Stand by.
Yeah, my initial gut feeling told me that it's pitching outside, and there's confirmation via Maria Erasmus. Confirming not out. Not the best review, but us bowlers do get a little bit overly happy up front every now and again, Brett, with a newie.
And why not when it's encouraging as well? Gee. De Kock whilst all this was taking place, was playing a stroke, trying to hit it up the ground. I think he's realised he's gone too square there. Sliced away down towards third man. It should just be the one. It's all it will be, and Quinton de Kock is underway.
It'll be interesting to see how Tamim Iqbal have the field placed in the right position, because to defend this total of 194, you got to take wickets. You will only win the match if you can pick up wickets on a consistent basis. So there is bounce. We've already seen that. Maybe an extra fielder in the slips cordon early on with the wide ball, operated by Taskin Ahmed and Shariful Islam. Get one another slip in place. Maybe the fielder at short mid-wicket. Get him in there.
Yeah, it's very important to make this new ball talk. Bangladesh will have to utilise this. This was him at Supersport Park, getting that one to nip back at Calvarena. That's a dangerous ball to be bowling. And then Markham flashing one to point. And he got the dangerous Rasif van der Dissen out at the back end.
Aided by a super catch from Yasir Ali. Look at his grouping there. I mean, the short is obviously elected to be shorter, but other than that, he is just so consistent. Turned away down to backward square just for the one.
I suppose the only danger on this particular surface is, as a bowler, that you don't feel that you have to bowl them out. If you can just be consistent outside the off stump, at back of the length area, we saw the groupings that he's capable of hitting. If you can get into that zone and just string a couple together, the wickets will come. From a batter's point of view, they would want you to come straighter.
Again, de Kock's taken it on the glove and he's hurting. It's the end of a spiteful over. It's 5 for none.
It seems like he's in a bit of pain, Quinton de Kock.
Parnell's got a hamstring strain, may not bat. Bavuma's got a bad finger, and now de Kock. Parnell's got a hamstring strain, may not bat. Count their walking wounded. Bangladesh. There's their progress. 34 for 5. Parnell's got a hamstring strain, may not bat. Count their walking wounded. Bangladesh. Learning from their experience and their great partnership against Afghanistan, where they'd been 45 for 6, took them to the 194 for 9. Here's Shariful. Just having a look at again this steep and unexpected bounce straight into the glove and more.
There's also a bit of a movement. It came back in, just maybe the elbow. So it's important for Tamim Iqbal to realize there's something in for the ball, especially in the first probably half an hour or so.
Slapped away square for 4. A little bit of width on the angle, and wristily Milan puts it away for a boundary.
Yeah, that's the way he's going to play. Gentleman Milan, when they give him and afford him anything, he's going to look to score, he's going to look to be positive. Shariful just trying to go across Milan on this occasion. As you can see, he's trying to go across him, little semi down the wicket. Hit it under up, a little bit airborne. But his placement is to perfection.
First boundary for South Africa. It's in the air and it's wide of the man down at long leg for 4. Just for a moment, Bangladeshi hearts might have leapt with a chance, but it wasn't to be. It's back-to-back boundaries for Milan.
It first one, the boundary was a little bit wide. This time he tried a shorter one. It went aerial, but it was just going away from Taskin Ahmed, that fine leg.
On the back of those two strokes, he's done away with slip, Tamim. I'm not sure I agree with that. And they need wickets. You were asking for even an extra catcher, Atta. Now he's down to one.
That's the little battle you're finding yourself in, Brett, when you're defending a lowy score. From a South African perspective, they want to transfer the pressure onto the bowlers to lose those catches, of course. And by conceding 2 boundaries, you're almost forced to take a slip out and be a little bit more defensive, affording yourself a little bit more time to bowl at the South African batters, but wickets will be key.
Once you get into that stage of play when you realize that you don't have enough runs on the board, you're asking a little bit too much from your bowlers. Okay, you got to give me a wicket. So perhaps maybe in between you need to speak to them. Okay, let's not just give away too many boundary balls early on, just to create a little bit more pressure. Try to bowl dot deliveries. And if you can create that pressure, maybe you can force a false stroke from a batter. But when they manage to pick up early boundaries, it just settles things around for the batters.
Oh, there's the delivery that got him lost on Friday evening. It ends the over, 8 from it. It's 13 for none.
That's a very good point you make. I think it boils down to process. Do you trust your process in just hanging it out there, holding ball after ball in a good area, asking the right questions, not looking to bowl them out? And I'm going to refer back to the point earlier. If you're going to look to bowl them out, bowling at the stumps, you're probably going to afford scoring opportunity, and you want to eliminate the scoring opportunities at the stage.
There's history. There is history of low scores defended here. You can see South Africa defended 150 against England, and then India 191 against South Africa. Bangladesh have to slot in third place here, having to defend 194. Here's Taskin with much hope. Goes to the cock.
I really like that line in length. If you can string a couple of good balls together on that line in length, you're going to be in play. So we've seen that there is enough in the surface. Couple bounce, couple stand up, couple keep low. That's where you want to be operating at.
Yeah, whether he tries to get across and take the ball away from the left-hander, because we've seen that ball coming back into the left-hander. Maybe just set him up, bowl a couple of one which comes in, and then take one away from him. See what happens.
Oh, down the pitch he shimmies. Does de Kock, doesn't beat the man at square leg. Just trying to disrupt the length of Taskin.
I think one of the key things, having played a lot of cricket up here, like the Wanderers as well, is not to look for swing. Because there's enough in the surface, if you hit a good enough area, one will bounce, one will keep low, and almost using the seam to your advantage. So the minute you start swinging it, you become floaty, and you allow batters then to play.
Good shot, de Kock. That's trademark de Kock. A hint of width. He got on top of the bounce. It's a sweet stroke for 4.
It's a brilliant shot. It's not a bad ball in any means. He got on top of the bounce, and like you said, that's the trademark, the cock shot. Really allow the ball to come onto him. Let's open up the face.
Big hit. He's picked it up and smashed it high and handsome and into the stands. Wow, Quinton de Kock means business.
spoke about what will be his approach in this match, because he did not play that first one at Super Sport Park. Played a lovely shot of the back foot. This time it was Fuller. And didn't shy away. And he went through that shot. Lovely follow through. Oh! 4 and a 6.
Yeah, he's an absolute joy to watch, especially when he's transferring the pressure back onto the bowlers. Watch the couple misbehave earlier, but it's his time to transfer the pressure back onto the bowlers, and he's done it in style.
Bangladeshi fielder has to go and look for it because the crowd can't throw it back because they're not allowed to touch the ball with the COVID protocols, and all the Bangladeshi fans rush over to get in close proximity. There's even a few pats on the back, which is also anti-protocol. But yeah, a little nod of the head perhaps. Yanaman Malan's gone. We're off to a decent start. When you're chasing a low score, to get above the rate and just erode some of those runs in a teasing chase, a score that nobody really wants to chase, because how do we play? De Kock's decided how to play, a lovely trademark square cut, and then I think he fancied Tuskin would be looking to go Fuller after the short one, and he's in the slot waiting. It's a sweet stroke, a full flow of the bat, and deposited it way into the stand. Change of angle from Tuskin, he goes round the wicket. Deep square going back. Fine leg comes up into the ring. Slip dispensed with.
Change of angle straight away after being belted with 4 and a 6. It's not a bad idea, Ron, because you know that this is still a pretty decent pitch to bat on. So you got to create a different angle to just pass a different message to the batter.
Yeah, we have seen Quinton de Kock struggling a little bit with the bowlers coming around, tucking himself up. I still want to see those catches in play. You have to be thinking positive. Can't be thinking defensive at this moment in time.
Straight back past the bowler. What an over this is of vintage Quinton de Kock. There's 14 from it. It's 27 for none. And this is probably the stroke of the 3. It was full, but it was met with the maker's name.
Yeah, he's made his intentions clear, Quinton de Kock. Tuskin coming around the wicket, a little bit full. But wow, how's that for a shot? That has been hit with some intent.
It's a gorgeous looking shot. Youngster watching how to play on drive. That's exactly the right way to do it.
Makes a statement as well. It just says to Bangladesh, you haven't got a lot of runs on the board and we're actually going to erode it very positively. Seen the full array from Quinton de Kock. Short cut 4, full pummeled 6, and then the stroke of the 3. Change of angle. It is full, yes, but the straightest of on drives you'd ever wish to see. Beautiful batting. An early change, spin. We saw some turn in the surface, but this is very interesting. As early as the 5th over, here's the man who got 4 wickets down at Supersport Park, Mahidi Hassan Mirad, who's coming into the attack early doors. What do you make of this, gents?
Congrats, number 1 for you, mates. Come, mates.
Well, Tamim feels that the seamers at the moment are not doing their job. That's the reason why he has asked Mahdi and Miraj to be in the attack. Get a slip in place. They're still too defensive.
He goes to Yanaman Malan.
I think also both these opening batters of South Africa, they love pace on the ball. So it's quite smart from the Bangladeshi team to turn to a little pace off. We have seen a couple of balls turn early on as well.
He didn't bowl a good first spell though, down at Supersport Park. 4 overs for 38, I think, was the first 2 spells, in fact. He did finish beautifully though when he had to bowl to the tail, but he didn't start well. He's got to start well today. Bit of turn. Bit of turn.
Definitely a bit of turn and offer, a bit of purchase for twin bowlers. That will really excite him.
Nicely played away for 1.
Yeah, he picked up 4 for 23 in the last 5 overs that he bowled. And there is a bit of a turn. Interesting to see whether the slip in comes into place, because it's a hander, Quinton de Kock on strike, and it's, yep, I think it's Yasir Ali comes in the slip.
This is Mahidi at Supersport Park. First Pet acquire. Janssen clear the ropes, failed. Good catch, the skipper. There's more to come, don't go away. De Kock inside out over extra cover. Geez, in a mood today. It's not going to go all the way, or it shouldn't have. They're not really pushing hard, the 2 South Africans. There was definitely a third there, but they just trotted back for 2. Finishing the Mahedi story. Rabada. Bowler himself claimed it. And Mahedi gets his 4th, and Bangladesh get their victory. The first over South Africa on South African soil. And that was a summary of the match. It was a beautiful day for Bangladesh. They batted beautifully. Shakib was outstanding, and then South Africa always behind the 8 ball.
An historic win. It was collective performance. You talk about batters scoring runs. You spoke about Shakib and Yasir, also Litton Das. But have a look at what the players did also. 4 for 61, which what Mahedi did with the ball. What about Taskin and Sharifu? Fantastic effort to pull out a win in the very first match in the 3-match series.
And it's nipped back as well.
This would excite any bowler looking to go across. Steep bounce. All together in that area, you will get your reward.
We saw the Bangladeshi batsmen adopt different methods to try and counteract the bounce. We saw Tamim and Shakib looking to get well forward and get the leading edge. Others like Mushfiqur and Mamadullah to a lesser degree going back as far as they could, playing between the crease. It looks to me as if Yanaman Malan has chosen the former, as if he's trying to get as close to the pitch of the ball as possible.
And he's also using his speed. He's coming down the wicket to negate that bounce.
Through for 4. He loves it square of the wicket. He just waits and hits it late. It's a very beautiful piece of timing from Yanaman Malan. Another South African boundary. It's looked like a good start by the home side.
Yeah, you can see he's itching to get onto this front foot. Again, he's hitting it under up. Almost simming down the wicket to Shariful. And this is really to negate that bounce. Hitting it under up, and again the placement immaculate. Hey, we were talking about the Bangladeshi batters earlier, Brett, with the extra bounce at the Wanderers. If you look at most of their missiles, they're probably all looking to play too square. On this particular surface, you want to try and play it with a straight blade. If it's a good enough delivery, obviously try and leave it. You want to get yourself in, but batting first here is always a massive ask. Batting in the morning is always that extra bounce, ball moving around a little bit. So you have to be ultra disciplined against that new ball. And in their case, unfortunately, South Africa was just too good with the new ball this morning.
Flicked away down to long leg. They'll push hard. And come back for 2. It's good running from Yanama.
So you mean to say that when Tamim did win the toss and decided to bat,
to 150.
just use the run for an extra pace. In that sort of line there.
Try and keep it as simple as possible. And it's all right to talk about it like that, but you've got to have the talent to be able to then do that, put it into practice. And not many do, not many can. That's why it's so valuable to any side as a player.
No, exactly that. Not many can, and that's why when he's in this form, you just got to enjoy it.
Yeah, we sometimes get a little bit frustrated when he gets out, don't we? Because of the damage he can do. And I mean, he's earned the right over all the years and all the innings that he's played to basically go out and play the way he wants. Because you know that if he gets it right on a particular day, he's so destructive that he ends up winning the game. But it'll be interesting to see this innings. Obviously, the power play concludes after this delivery. He's not going to face it. If he shifts through the gears and decides to go a little bit more circumspect or just continues to play in the same vein.
Yeah, I don't think you can have one without the other. So what he does in terms of be so destructive to sides, it kind of has to then go about, if conditions allow. Of course, it's about him assessing conditions and deciding whether he can or he can't. But if they do allow, he'll go at things, and sometimes it won't come off. That's just the nature of the game. 72 without loss. Power play done, and it's been all Quinton de Kock.
Yeah, we were going to show you his 50 package, but it basically is the power play. So let's just have a look and see. That was massive, right in the slot. And once he got into this frame of mind, you knew that Bangladesh were in a bit of trouble. 72 runs in the first 10 over. It's the best power play in a day game here at the Wanderers. And some exquisite shots.
Just the most incredible hands. Watch him bat. Just magnificent hands. Helps to have a good eye as well. He's got that. Yeah, so the battle resumes, but this time with fielders set in catching areas on the fence. So Mehdi Hassan has some protection, and Quinton de Kock will now be going through the old computer to say, now how do I tackle this one? How do I still stay on top and put you under? Because that's the way he goes about things. Doesn't just let bowlers bowl at him.
No, he won't. I suspect he will stay in that positive vein, and if you can just watch those practice shots he's practicing there at the moment, he knows where the gap is. It's cow corner. Next time I'm on strike.
It might also be the small boundary.
Oh, is he outside the line? Is he outside the line? Just, says Adrian Holstock. Mehdi Hassan feels is in line and has asked his skipper to go upstairs. We're going up.
Yeah, no surprise. I think they need a breakthrough. So I think that's halfway in their favour. It's worth having a look.
The original decision is not out. I've checked the front foot and it's a fair delivery. Okay, we've gone to front on spin vision. Okay, ball's close to the bat. Can we just go to Ultra H, please? Okay, just waiting for Ultra H.
It's also got to work out whether it makes contact with the front pad or whether it actually makes contact with the back leg. Might determine whether it's in line or not.
Ultra H coming up. Keep rolling that through. Nice and slow. Yeah, keep rolling that through. There's a flat line when the ball passes the bat. Roll that through. Keep rolling. I'm satisfied there's no bat involved. Can we go to ball tracking when ready? The original decision is not out. Pitching outside off and impact outside. Adrian, you can stay with your original decision of not out. Stand by.
there's confirmation of the decision, but what's happened there as they watch the big screen, both Quinton de Kock and Yannaman Milan, is they saw it the first time and have decided, well, that's in front, I'm on my way. He's walked halfway off the field as Yannaman Milan. And then because it's not up to them to decide it, it's kind of had to wait a bit. And the umps had to shout to him to say, well, wait, let's wait for the decision.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised about that, because if you look at his feet and where it started when he played the stroke, he was already kind of outside the line of the stumps. And when it strikes him, it's definitely outside the line, so I was surprised that he walked halfway off.
I'd like to have a look at it again, because I'm also trying to work out where the initial contact point was. Was it on that front pad, or was it missing the front pad? We saw like a little squiggle. I don't know if they had judged it. This would tend to suggest when the ball stops that that's contact with the front pad, and that's maybe what's got him out. So there must have been a little snick on that front pad.
Put down. Oh dear.
Yeah, it's all going against the Bangladeshis here. Appeal outside the line, not given. And then on this occasion here, it looks like chance has gone a begging.
It's a huge chance. It's a big chance, and hurts all the more because it's Quinton de Kock. 11 have gone, it's 76 without loss. So an over that goes by where they feel they could have had a couple. An LBW shout, and then an outside edge that doesn't nestle into the gloves. This is where things stand. Happier skippers on the left-hand side. Normally is quite aggressive, but the front is Yannaman Milan, but has done a lot of the watching so far in this match, with Quinton de Kock in fine form and hitting it to all parts. This is the phase where he's got to manage the rotation even better, keep that pace and flow of the innings going.
In this batting partnership, it's not often the case that Yannaman Milan is the aggressor. It's not often that Quinny will just settle back and absorb deliveries.
Yeah, they formed a good partnership as well a few years back when we had the Mzansi Super League in South Africa, playing down in Cape Town for the Blitz. So they've got a good understanding, but it's not often, as you say, that Yannaman is playing the aggressor.
Placement and timing as well. When you're on that side at the Wanderers, it's a struggle. big struggle because one, it's the short side and there's this little slope there in that sort of 45-degree area. You've got to be in exactly the right spot or you can't catch up with them.
It's interesting to watch Quinny. Quinny didn't move. You know, often if you hit it to the left or right of a sweeper, you charge off thinking you're coming back for two. He was like, no, that's good enough, it's going to go. See him hold the pose there. No running.
Not happy with himself and the contact in that last one. He fancied that as well. He's fancying everything today.
It's not often he doesn't fancy anything. If he just gets away up at the front, then it doesn't matter what's being thrown at him. He's quite happy to go at it.
I think the case of Quinton de Kock, and in many teams around the world, there's been different individuals that you have that you know if they get off to a fast start, that you can almost set up the game there and then. And it's like having bowlers who are running with a new bowl quick, shape the ball, and can have a team 3 down quickly, or someone like a Lasith Malinga at the back end. You know if you get into that pressure situation, invariably he used to come out with his team on top, and Quinton is one of those players. And that's why when he walks into the dressing room, when he walks out up front for South Africa, there's just a bit of self-belief that grows in the team.
Felt the wind off that one up here. Yeah, and he might have hurt himself as well. He swung that hard. Didn't make contact though. It's 82 without loss.
If he got a hold of that, the Kookaburra would have departed the stadium.
And I think that reaction from him is saying exactly the same thing. Oof, if I got a hold of that, it's gone out of the Wanderers.
And the big thing is that he picked him. So he picks that it's the slow one, and then it turns just a bit. That's why he misses it.
I think it stayed down a touch. Stayed down a touch.
Look at that reaction. Yeah, I just stretched my back. Yeah, Fizz knows. The Fizz knows that, I'm lucky there. That's a nice shot. Minimum of fuss. Good timing, just tucked round the corner and away it goes for 4.
Yeah, he placed it nicely, timed it nicely, the Yanaman Malan. Minimum fuss, as you say. It came sweetly out the middle.
Yeah, the link, the connection. Quinton de Kock, Mustafizur Rahman is in the Indian Premier League and playing at Mumbai. And so he'd have some sort of a clue. Fouled him! Gone for the sweep, gone too far across and missed it. And Mehdi Hassan is the man with the breakthrough.
Yeah, he's just taken a few poor options. Yanaman Malani went for the sweep a couple of overs before, gone for the pedal sweep this time. Just gone too far across it. And it clips his leg stump.
You can see the thinking of trying to get it fine, but he hasn't executed those sweep shots to great effect. And having got a 4 off the first ball of the over, maybe could have taken a bit more time, didn't really need that element of risk. Unfortunately for him, it cost him his wicket. He goes for 26 or 40. And is this the opportunity? Is this the wicket that can somehow get Bangladesh back into this contest? 86 for 1.
Calvarena, as the man has walked in at number 3. He's 24 years old, still young. Calvarena, still very young actually at 24. Not a time left yet. Just in his 11th match, so still trying to start out. Has done good things domestically. Has played good innings here and there for South Africa as a side, in times where he's got an opportunity, but still very much trying to make his way. Oh, just short. Didn't get to it at all, and nearly, very nearly was gone first ball.
I think that's good captaincy. Get short leg in and make Calvarena feel like there's something on the go, and it's not often you'll see a batter use his feet on the first delivery. Maybe feeling uncomfortable that the short leg is in place, and nearly worked a trick for Bangladesh.
What is it? He doesn't play a sweep, or they feel he doesn't?
I think they might just think there's a bit more bounce and offer and a bit of spin. We saw quite a bit of spin during South Africa, I beg your pardon, during Bangladesh batting innings as well.
That's what bowled. It's 3 pretty good deliveries at the new batter. No freebie. 86 for 1.
Here's the wicket. I think it actually might have got a bit of bat onto pad and then onto leg stump. But as he sits in the chair, I'm sure he'll be pretty disappointed. Nice start, got himself to 26. No real need for this. Temba will be in at number 4, you think, with that finger issue?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering actually. Just going to go with that. That normally he'd walk in at number 3, and so the reason he hasn't might well be a case of his fingers not going so well.
Maybe no Temba, probably no Parnell. We'll have KG coming in at 6.
Is he ready? Has he got pads on? Is he? Oh, I think he was getting up to show us whether he had pads or not.
We're going to have a word with Eddie there. How can he cut away at the cracks moment where we could see the pads? Seriously.
Let's shuck him.
More importantly, I've got a question for you guys. I don't know how good you or sharp you are with your colours, but we've had some interesting pinks over the year. This one? Is this one pink or cerise?
What it will do is test us with our knowledge of colours.
There's pink in the background. Volvo's got pink on. I'm not convinced about this pink.
There's pink.
Yeah, that's pink for me.
We're going to have to ask the fashion gurus behind us. Brett Proctor, he's behind us here, maybe.
Brett's going with cerise.
Fielded. Taking me back there. Hannibal Lecter. Yeah, they're in now. There's that man catching a cover, but there's also silly point and slip for the left arm spin. For the off spinner, there was just a short leg.
Definitely seems like it's making him a little bit uncomfortable. He's just getting his hands to the ball and not waiting for the ball to come.
Yeah, it's a little period you've got to settle through. He's not settled at the moment. He's reaching for it. He's not feeling comfortable. He's not off the mark after 6 deliveries. All those little things play on your mind, and there's people in and around him.
amazing how it works, you know, over a period of time. And that last ball is different, slightly different in that he lets the ball get to him. And it's often one or two, and then the batter's away, and you see it happen. It's 88 for 1. Mehdi Hassan with the wicket, good contribution, with bat in hand as well. A little bit of turn.
Yeah, he's a fighter, is Mehdi. He went for a few in the first ODI as well, in his first spell, and he went for a few tonight or this afternoon, but he's come back strongly.
Okay, question for you, Ashwell. Does Quinny change his game plan? If you get the feeling of the game, it's almost like South Africa have just been pulled back a bit and been put under a little bit of pressure, and they, in ways, can't afford to lose a wicket now, or wouldn't want to.
Yeah, it does feel like it's been pulled back a bit. What's the situation with Timber up there? What's the situation with Wayne Parnell up there? We don't know. Not too sure. So does that come into the equation of how he approaches it? I think very often with Quinny, he just plays his game.
Yeah, there's also been a little period, and this is where Bangladesh might intentionally be doing it and trying to, certainly any other side would, trying to make sure that Quinny's not on strike for as many deliveries as is possible. And they've just managed it here in this little period.
I think Mehdi will be disappointed with the 2 deliveries that he's bowled for Rainer in this over. There was that opportunity to keep the pressure on, keep asking the questions, and it's been 2 bad drag downs that have allowed him to pick up singles.
Yeah, what I was talking about, Keith Lane just telling us, the last 13 balls, Quinton de Kock has faced 2 of them. So it makes the game feel different, because each time he's on strike, he's dictating terms. And when whoever the other player is on strike, whether it was Malan or Verena as he tries to get started, it's Bangladesh feeling they have an opportunity and they're going at those.
And when you've got the rhythm that Quinny had at the start of his innings, you just want to strike back, and they're unable to give it to him.
All singles. And that one, 15 done. It's 94 for 1.
Looks a fairly comfortable equation. 101 required, with 9 wickets in hand and de Kock flowing. Shakib Al Hassan goes to Quinton de Kock. Just all part of this day is to raise money for the cancer unit at the Charlotte and Clare Academic Hospital. Quinton de Kock goes big. I don't think he's got enough of this. No, he hasn't. That's a great catch in the deep. De Kock is out, and Bangladesh are back in this. De Kock has holed out in the deep to an excellent catch. Smiles all round Bangladesh because they know this is not done. The end of De Kock for 62. It's been a great innings, but has his departure turned the game around? It's 94 for 2.
Quinny de Kock catching a train this afternoon, played some fantastic shots, trying to keep going at it. A fifth in the deep. That's a fantastic catch. Just didn't get all of it. Been starved from the face.
Beautifully judged. Realizes he might have to step over the cushion, gets rid of it. Gets rid of it early enough. Now he's outside. He mustn't still be outside, obviously, when he takes, but his eyes never leave the ball. Hops in the air, takes the catch, completed the end of de Kock. It's been a great innings. He's gone for 62. It's 94 for 2.
We talk about a bit of momentum. Just seemed to get starved for the face. Just didn't he face 2 balls in the last 13 balls. And it's hard to gear down. You're sort of at gear 5, you're ready to play. All of a sudden you're watching that at the non-striker's end. And then you try and keep your momentum, don't get it well.
Players are enjoying a drink. It's 94 for 2. So the skipper is fit enough to bat. He's just dropped 1 down the order. He's gone to number 4, and there he is with a very good record, averaging just under 50. Got a century or 2 centuries to his name. And he's out there because de Kock is holed out in the deep, and Bangladesh could just sense opportunity here. Whipped away wide of mid-on. Yes, it is. Nice little bottom-handed flick away for 4. That'll relieve some pressure. Well played, Kyle Verreynne.
Now you pick up the wicket and you would want to see Shakib Al Hasan especially starting well. But it's a low full toss and it's an easy picking. Just get it away from that fielder at mid-on and boundary written all over it. Shakib Al Hasan is the one who's produced the goods with the ball, missed out with the bat, and he's the one who picked up the big fish, Quinton de Kock, in his only second over.
And a bit of relief. The run rate's never going to get questioned. But as a batsman, you want to come in, you want to feel bat on ball, you want to feel a bit of fluency there. So a nice, easy pickings for Kyle Verreynne, just to get his innings up and running.
Just before Shakib finishes up, I just want to go, where do you go at the other end now? Mahedi's done a good job, he's got Malan out, but do you know with Temba Bavuma with that injured bottom hand, do you go back to one of the quicks now from the golf course end?
I think you can definitely try it up. You know, they've obviously got all their stats and I'd definitely run in, especially a left-hander going at him.
the end of 16, it's 99 for 2. Was it necessary to try and clear the ropes? It's hard to be critical after a brilliant innings because he's played this way. He was going for maximum and he didn't get it all, but it was a super catch from Afif right out on that deep mid-wicket boundary. You can see toe end, not the sweet spot, swung for all he's worth, but this is a very, very good catch. Excellent take, excellent judgment, big wicket.
We saw the similar kind of catch taken by Tamim Iqbal in the first match at the Super Sports Park in the deep. So they've usually practice it when they go into the field. Number of catches been taken in that fashion. Right. Q Newman in the crease. That's what Bangladesh wanted. They need wickets. They continue with Mehdi Hassan Miraj because it's Varane who's on strike.
And Varane has struggled a little against Mahidi. He goes to him. Slip in a short leg in a short mid-wicket.
I think Mahidi as well. If you want him, he's your frontline spinner. I know Arif, he bowls a couple. He bowls a couple off stump. You've got Mamadullah who bowls off stump. You also got to have a look that Miller's going to come in. Parnell, left-handers, you want to keep the off-spin of the ball going away from him. So I would see maybe one or two more and then definitely a change. Bring one of the quicks back. Try and get some more inroads into the South African lineup.
100 comes up on the board for South Africa for just a loss of 2. Same stage, Bangladesh, they were labouring early at 48 for 5. Oh, flicked perilously close to that short leg. Bavuma off the mark. He's got a lovely loop today, Mahidi.
Yeah, it's a tough call for someone like Tamim Iqbal to see what the spinners have done so far. It's the spinners who've been among the wickets. Yes, a little bit too far from that fielder at short leg.
Oh, and then he bowls that quicker one and catches Varane on the crease. Full of disguises, Mehdi Hassan Miraj.
It was hard to see what the impact of the seamers. There's still enough out there with those seamers. I just think the way Quinton de Kock took it to the bowlers has actually negated them. So they're definitely not out of the equation. I think you just got to chop and change. You can't let, you obviously got to build up. If they're not scoring, that's fine. But if you're not taking wickets, this game's not going to the distance overs wise. So you've got to keep taking wickets.
Two from the over, 17 done. It's 101 for 2. I think you're spot on, Neil, in the sense that we saw enough bounce early doors there. It hit one on the glove of de Kock, one went past the chest of Janman Malan. There was something there, as there was for the South African seamers. It was just de Kock was just, once he decided to take the game, he was just quite brilliant, and it sometimes clouds judgment. But there's still very much an option for seam, I think, on this surface.
I think it's okay to have Shakib Al Hasan in the attack. What we feel from up here is that perhaps maybe it's time for Mehdi Hassan to take a break. He's gone for 40 and he's picked up a wicket in his 7 overs. Maybe have someone back, someone like Taskin Ahmed, who can come in and see what he can produce on the surface.
Here is Shakib, who goes to Bavuma. Nicely turned around the corner for the one. And that's all the approach they need. And gentlemen, your point about the innings going the duration now, that's not going to happen. You're not going to keep a side under 2.8 to the over. You have to bowl South Africa out.
So then you just make your decision. Who's got the best chance of getting that particular batter out? And that's why you do your strategies and your analysis before the series starts. So a ball turning away from the 2 right-handers. So he's going to plug away here. That other end, definitely bring back your left arm quicks or even a Tuscan. He didn't. He ran into a Quinton de Kock this side, but he's been bowling beautifully the last couple of months. A change of end might do him good, and just keep rotating your bowlers.
Cut away, very, very late. I'll get more than one here. Hasn't come out of the sweetest spot of the bat. Bavuma, well, that little bit of a hamstring strain from Supersport Park isn't as quick as ever, so they're back for 2 instead of 3.
Quinton de Kock definitely came out the blocks. I think Betway might have just given him a little heads up to say, it's been a bit tough going for the Bangladesh side. There haven't been too many boundaries. We need to make these donations to this special cause. Can you do something about it? And he obliged.
He certainly did. 2 sixes in his innings, which will be 2,000 rand a six.
Down, Dave, the ball down.
Driven, not through.
He's bowled really well, and he's bowled according to the field set for him. Heavy on the offside.
Pushed away once, one won't get it. 3 from the over, that's all they need. 18 done, it's 104 for 2. That's how much money's been made, and how much of that did Quinton de Kock make? Because he got 4,000 out of that 8,000 in the sixes, and he certainly made a high quotient of the fours as well. 37,000 from Betway going to the Charlotte Mtleke Academic Hospital for the fight against breast cancer, and more importantly, the early detection thereof. Significantly ahead, graphically illustrated by that picture. Massive advantage. Should be comfortable, it just doesn't have that feel yet. Mahedi continues. Oh, it's close to short leg.
Perhaps Tamim feels that he can pick up a wicket here if he keeps him on.
He's down the ground for one. But like Neil's thinking, you've got these left-handers, Miller against the turning off spinner, Parnell if he comes in, you want to have the off spinner just there, some in the bank for that turning ball away from the left-hander. Unless he's backing a Mamadullah or even an Afif to bowl a couple of overs off spin if that's required.
I think he's, along with Shakib, is your go-to spinner. I think you've definitely got to hold him back for 2. He's bowled nicely, but give him the best opportunity against these lefties.
Thick edge, just the one. There's no necessity for South Africa to play any other way than they're playing now, given that they need 2.8 to the over. Just knock it around for ones, it's all fine. Bangladesh must be aware of that and almost go and say, right, we've got to pick up wickets, even if it bring in an extra fielder, just go over the top, try and take a risk in that manner. Mid wickets come in right into a catching position.
I think your mindset here as a batter as well is, you know that you've got time on your hands, you can knock it around, but you've got to still keep that positive intent. When you get on that bad ball, good players hit the bad ball for 4. So it's all very well to be no panic and just knock him around. If there's a 2 on offer, if there's a 4 on offer, take it. South Africa going along nicely, ticking up, getting a partnership. South Africa 108 for 2.
South Africa bowled really well this morning with a new ball in favourable conditions. None better than Kagiso Rabada, who picked up his second 5-wicket haul in one-day internationals. And that restricted Bangladesh from, at one stage, 34 for 5. They posted 194 for 9. And there's Rabada standing out atop that. And South Africa, thanks to de Kock, have got off to a flyer in pursuit of making it 1-1. 87 wanted. And there is a switch. They are going to see, perhaps not the end we thought it would be. Maybe it's going to be both ends. But nonetheless, Tuskin, who was so good at Supersport Park, he's got plenty in his ration to go. He's back into the attack to try and break this partnership.
If I was the skipper, I would have Shakib Al Hasan coming from the other end. Change of answer for him. It's not a bad move because he's thinking a little bit more positive. Slip in plays. Let's see how he goes here, because he went for a few in his first couple of overs.
He goes to Verena. A little bit of width, and that's where Verena dines out. Anything on a bit of a width so he can play the bleak bat shot. He's very comfortable.
It just looks like he's in a good frame. You know, he had a little tough start there, but he's still looking to score, looking for anything. And don't, you know, we know this game's properly mental side of things as well. Taskin knocked him over at Supersport Park, so he's got that on the back of his mind. So that's a good start, good body language and intent first ball up.
Very, very wide. There's half a shout. There's half a shout. They've got no reviews left, even if there was something. They can't ask.
I'd love to see Taskin Hamada bowl a little bit closer to the stumps, because that's a poor delivery. Look how wide that is. And it still reaches for it.
I think as well. I think Quinny de Kock's definitely got in his head. No, that's the trick about a left-hand, right-hand combination up front. You saw he bowled at Supersport Park, hit some unbelievable areas. And this wicket is green, guys. This wicket is doing stuff. You've got to land. Your variation is in this wicket. You've got to bang the wicket on a good length, asking questions. He's bowled two long, wide, sort of outside-off deliveries at this stage.
6, short, picked up into the stands. That's a superb stroke from the skipper.
Yeah, you spoke about the length, Neil, and if you miss the length, you're in trouble. He gets penalized over bowling short, and is a very good shot. Gets in a good position and puts it away for the maximum.
And Temba Bavuma, this is his home track. He knows how to play here. Got to be watchful of those ones. Good, compact, but anything loose, you get your value for shots here. Picking up the length really quickly, just rocks back, and no intention of keeping that down.
What a good stroke. What a confidence builder. What a momentum lifter. Just saps the build of squeeze that Bangladesh was starting to exact.
I was off air watching Quinton de Kock, and just the 1-2 that he did with Taskin. Hit that unbelievable shot, that backward point, slightly wide, not a really short ball. And then next ball knew that he was going to try and get it full, and just sort of whacked him back over his head. You know, some quality players just do those 1-2s and get ahead of the game a little bit better than just your normal good international player.
So there is just that element, I'd say of guessing, but of anticipating what the bowler's going to do. And doing it right. Nicely angled for the single.
I think you say guessing, and it's sort of that intuition and you know, I was lucky enough to play with AB de Villiers enough and be around him and just how he guessed. You know, you could look at, especially when he faced spin, he'd run down, knock the guy over the top for 4 or 6, and then next ball you're like, okay, well, he's going to go deep and then just pick off that back of the length ball. You know, and you watching it, you're seeing it, and you're seeing how obvious it is, but he just had the ability to, if it wasn't there, to change up a game.
Player with strike rate of 95 plus, and if they can manage to pick up
দেওয়া লিংকে চলে যান। বন্ধুরা, আজকের এই ক্রিকেট ম্যাচটি সম্পূর্ণ ফ্রিতে লাইভ দেখতে চাইলে কমেন্টে দেওয়া লিংকে চলে যান। বন্ধুরা, আজকের এই ক্রিকেট ম্যাচটি সম্পূর্ণ ফ্রিতে লাইভ দেখতে চাইলে পিন কমেন্টে দেওয়া লিংকে চলে যান। বন্ধুরা, আজকের এই ক্রিকেট ম্যাচটি সম্পূর্ণ ফ্রিতে লাইভ দেখতে চাইলে পিন কমেন্টে দেওয়া লিংকে চলে যান। বন্ধুরা, আজকের এই ক্রিকেট ম্যাচটি সম্পূর্ণ ফ্রিতে লাইভ দেখতে চাইলে পিন কমেন্টে দেওয়া লিংকে চলে যান। বন্ধুরা আজকের এই ক্রিকেট ম্যাচটি সম্পূর্ণ ফ্রিতে লাইভ দেখতে চাইলে পিন কমেন্টে দেওয়া লিঙ্কে চলে যান। বন্ধুরা আজকের এই ক্রিকেট ম্যাচটি সম্পূর্ণ ফ্রিতে লাইভ দেখতে চাইলে পিন কমেন্টে দেওয়া লিঙ্কে চলে যান। বন্ধুরা
সবাই আমাদের পেজটা ফলো করে দেন, তাহলে আমরা নেক্সট আরো ভালো ভালো খেলা আপনাদের মাঝে
Just to have a couple of wickets right now.
We understand. Dot, we'd like these two to bat to the end. Still a slip, and I like that. He's still trying to weave a web and get a wicket here. Cut away, he's found the gap, called immediately, another single. There's a little bit more calmness coming to this partnership. It's not a big one yet, 24, but it's come off just 30 balls. Different degrees of turn. You certainly wouldn't expect Wanderers to be the one where it turns more, but it's proved to be the case. The little paddle, BANVSA specialty. He'll get back for 2.
Yeah, we just saw the degree of turn, especially at this ground at the Wanderers, and that's why perhaps though I feel that he's the kind of bowler who can make a good impact. Not only just drying up the runs, but also pick up wickets.
Oh, a little bit of bounce and turn.
I think that's his class. He sees the surface and he adapts his skill level for that surface. Here he needs some turn. He's got to get a little bit more finger or spin on it.
And that's another one that's just stopped on the surface. BANVSA was through the stroke and before he had the opportunity to pull. Four from the over. It's 120 for 2. Looking pretty comfortable for South Africa by way of comparison. The Worms are fairly distant. At the same stage, Bangladesh, after that early drama, was 66 for 5, trying to get a partnership together. South Africa, thanks to de Kock, got off to an absolute flyer. It was vintage Quinton de Kock, 62 off just 41 balls. 21 fours and 3 sixes all add up to 1,000 Rand a 4 and then 2,000 Rand a 6. And the money is donated by our sponsor Betway to the Charlotte Ndleke Academic Hospital, going to help towards the fight against breast cancer and the early detection thereof.
Tamim will also need to look towards someone like Mustafizur Rahman, because they need wickets here. He's only bowled 2 overs, gone for 8 runs. He's been expensive. He hasn't been the old self that what we saw from Taskin Ahmed in that first match.
Here is Taskin, goes to Verena.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy from here on in. You expect it to lose, and you've almost got that freedom as a captain to try and make something happen. So a bowler comes on, he doesn't get a wicket in 2 overs. You hoof him, you bowl the next guy. If you feel a bit of pressure building up, in terms of the spinners, you just let him go, let it build up, let him build up. So it's almost like that flair, that opportunity you've got that you don't normally have as in a normal one-day game, to almost show your repertoire, to show your attacking ability and your versatility.
Not through.
I think one of the things that the skippers of teams it's how do you read the game? When do you really want to make a change? Yes, 120 for 2. South Africa well set, looking to go and win and square the series. Yes, there's one more match, but you got to read the game and you need to be a little bit more proactive instead of just going through your mind here. Let's get this bowler and let him bowl 4 or 5 overs. You got to make quick changes if you're looking to pick up wickets. You got to gamble and gamble quickly.
Pulled away over mid-wickets. It's a super stroke from Verena. It makes yet another statement from the South African perspective. Another boundary to the new young player in the South African upper order.
And how quickly international cricket changes. The hero Friday night at Supersport Park didn't look like he could bowl anything offline. And here the batters looking like they're just taking a bit of a liking to him, hitting slightly back of a length, just sitting up on this wicket. They can trust the bounce, and plays a fantastic shot for 4.
What a different day. 0 for 29 in 3.5, and he took 3 for 36 in a full ration on Friday night. It's a cruel game.
That's the reason why I feel that as a skipper you need to read the situation as quickly as possible. You can have a really good day, then all of a sudden you see the bowler is not doing the things that he has done in that first match at Super Sports Park. He's a very good bowler. Take nothing away from Taskin Ahmed. But if he's not having a good time with the ball, then it's important for Tamim to make the right changes. That's the reason why I feel that Mustafizur Rahman should be now in the attack.
In the air, there's a man there, but it doesn't matter. It clears the man posted back in the deep. 6 more off Tuskin, 6 more to Verena. South Africa are racing along now.
Not even looking to hold this down. Knows it's back of the length, short boundary, half felt. Ball flies here. Doesn't get it all the way in the middle, but in a good position anyway, gets enough on it. And Verena, from a slow start, a little bit iffy, stamping his authority on the game.
It's when he's gone short, Tuskin, both to Bavuma, de Kock before him, and now to Verena, have all fastened onto the short one and played well square of the wicket. The ball does fly here on the high felt. Good stroke, Verena. In the danger zone, protected by his umbrella. A 65 wanted at 2.3 to the over. Short again, pulled again, 6 again. That's even better. Low, flat and skimming and crashing into the advertising hoardings for 6.
Taskin tired of getting pulled back of a length, thought, listen, I'm going to bring a bit of aggression here. Banged it in this time. Carl Verena taking it off his forehead. Crashes it nice and low for 6. South Africa 136 for 2.
What a stroke this is. It's even better than the previous one. It was better controlled and it was more emphatically dealt with. Back-to-back 6s for Verena. 16 from that over. It's a big one for the psyche of Verena, Bavuma and South Africa. Because any threat that Bangladesh were putting to tie them down has been wrested from them. It's just 59 to go and it's time for a commentary change. Moving in are Pommy and Bangwa, Bernard Philander and Ashwell Prince.
It's always an occasion. The pink day. The smattering of fans that are here in the bull ring, having a lovely time. Partnership 42. Not 42 now with that dot, but it's been a pretty good one. It's got going.
Yeah, and Carl Verena's got into his rhythm with a couple of 6s in that last over. He's new into his international, one-day international career, and he's been up and down the batting order. Good paddle around the corner from Timber Bavuma. He's been in the middle order predominantly. asked to open in the last game with the absence of Quinton de Kock, and in at number 3, when you're new in the team, you take your opportunity anywhere you get it.
I think also, though, it's not just that. With the retirement from test matches of Quinton de Kock, he's done well to keep a watch of that, irregular in its bounce set. I think a team, when they're trying to get an important player in a side to become a part of the team, look to try and put responsibility on him and hope that the response is good. And thus far, Verena's response, generally, in situations that have required good responsibility and a good head on the shoulders, have been good. 140 for 2.
Yeah, he certainly lived up to expectation. Delivered on the domestic front, put in the hard yards, put in the performances. Some good reference points when it comes to performances. All you need at the international level is that one performance to really give yourself that boost. It's really starting to make inroads and cementing his spot in this team.
The bull ring was bathed in sunshine at the start of the day. There's been clouds engulf and envelop us through the day. South Africa well ahead.
Yeah, and Quinton de Kock was in the mood to make sure that if there was anything in those clouds that he gets ahead of the rate.
Yeah, he certainly made sure that he took the short to the Bangladeshi bowlers up front. Give his team a solid platform, guys to come in after him to really take the time. Most importantly, take the threat away from the Bangladeshis.
Yeah, good late call, no. Better late than never.
Yeah, he realized that he timed it too sweetly. His ball was getting too quickly to the fielder, Tamim Iqbal.
Yeah, fortunate. He hit that well as well. The issue then was just a few steps to the right that was particularly important, and he didn't pick it up. Amazing how it goes. The last we're sitting together. Chat about in the next over. 143 for 2. The 52 more to get for South Africa. Time not an issue. Perhaps weather as they look around, look up to the clouds. Done well to get that away. Yeah, and again, it is Verena again on strike. And amazing how it goes. A guy trying to get himself in at the beginning of an innings. He's lunging at everything, pushing the hands at everything, with the spin being bowled at him. Applauses for the 50 partnership, but playing entirely different now. Happy to let the ball get to him.
And his strike rate is picked up nicely. 85% at the moment, and in fact, in domestic cricket, whilst he's done really well in putting the runs on the board, he's got a healthy average in particularly this format as well, and the first class format. But if you look a little bit deeper into the stats.
BANVSA upping the ante. Oh dear. Shariful with a misfield that allows the four.
Yeah, it's been a tough day in the field. Tough day all around for the Bangladeshis. BANVSA playing the big shot out to deep square leg, and Shariful comes around, makes the ground, but fumbles it through his legs.
Shot. That's a beautiful shot. Yeah, and well fielded. Afif is quick. It had to be him, because that was struck really well by BANVSA. Brings up 150.
I was just making the point about Verreynne in domestic cricket. He's got one of the lowest percentage dot balls against him, particularly in this format. So very adept at working the ball around in the middle overs, which is a great skill to have. Doesn't have the power as much as some of the other players around the country, but you very rarely can tie him down.
No, Litan.
And if you heard me saying he doesn't have the power, he'd want to show you.
Wide ball on that occasion. I was about to say Ashwell. He's got 2 sixes to his name in this game.
Ashwell will say there to the short boundary. And we're in the high felt. It's 151 for 2. It's a good thing they don't listen to us.
Tell you what, if there's one guy that will differ with Ashwell on that one, it will certainly be Verreynne. Chirpy little guy. It's the 57-run partnership between these two. Number 59 balls, Verreynne contributing 32, BANVSA 24.
Take cover. Oh boy. It's good fielding and short cover. Late. Very late. Deft touch from Verreynne.
Yeah, it's a very, very productive area for him usually. And he'll be quite happy to see just the one fielder behind point. Litan Das has been moved into that short extra cover position.
Tell you, I marvel at it because it's like 2 different players to the spin, and we're talking about the same guy. The nerves of starting an innings, and then when a guy gets in.
It's amazing the feeling you get, Tommy, when there's only a 0 next to your name before that first run.
I know that feeling. Yeah, the feeling I don't know is after the first run.
I was about to say, Pom, the objective is to get off the 0.
Yeah, should have told me sooner.
And that's very well placed. Is he going to beat the man on the cover fence? Yes, he does. Awesome timing and placement from Verreynne. South Africa 157 for 2.
Often we talk about touch, and when we do that, it's associated with little dinks where, like the one he played a late cut and he gets a couple of runs there, but this as well, and with the hands just punching the ball and the blade making sure it's in front of the man on the cover fence. Quinton de Kock played a shot there which was down to third man but sufficiently in front for four. And usually with these players who have the touch, it's all timing, and it's as if they haven't hit it at all, but it races off to the fence.
Yeah, he's got great hands, this Calverain, and he mentioned it after his maiden Test century in New Zealand a few weeks ago, that he referred to footwork not being a major strength of his, but hitting the ball late under his eyes, and obviously he's got very good hands. And with your point about the placement and the timing, the later you wait for the ball to come, the more you can maneuver it around with your wrist behind point, as we saw that little deft touch before earlier in the over, and then this time taking a little bit earlier and piercing the gap through extra cover.
Nothing on it. They'll have to ball that again. They've been searching for a long time, just not able to get the breakthroughs they need. With the 194, the thought process would have been that they got out of jail. 34 for 4 they were, and would have felt, tough to get to anywhere near 200, and so a victory of sorts getting to 194, but never enough really, particularly without the start where you get wickets up at the front. Quinton de Kock and Janneman Malan putting on 86 effectively kind of blows you out of the water as a side trying to defend a low total.
Yeah, I think at just over 50 for 5, you're always out of the contest, aren't you? But you have to compliment him for actually batting out the 50 overs, getting themselves back into the contest somehow, giving the bowlers something to bowl at. Having played a lot of cricket up here at the Wanderers, I always knew that it was way below par. Directly a little appeal by Maria Rasmus, saying no interest.
Experience. Yeah, Mehdi Hassan tried to stress the point, trying to say, well, why don't we go and check upstairs? He maybe plonked his bat in, and also because he's the one who does the throw, I guess. And Rasmus says not out, because I'm not interested in checking.
And rightfully so.
He also might have said your reviews are done.
Yeah, back to your point, Vern, about Bangladesh batting out the 50 overs and getting close to 200. I think coming off the other night when they won the first game yesterday in a big spot of bother at 5 down for not a lot. From a coaching point of view, Russell Domingo point of view, you got to look at any kind of positive that you can take out of the performance.
Edged and 4. It's not going for them today, Bangladesh.
Yeah, a little bit of wit offered by Musfika. Temba Bavuma getting 4 kids and think thick outside it. Of course, at this stage of the game, there will be absolutely no slips. All races down to the third man, fence for 4.
Yeah, no real issues with that finger to this point by Temba Bavuma. Coming in to try and make sure the job is completed. 162 for 2.
Yes, coming back to your point, As, on being able to bat out the 50 overs. I think as a coaching management staff, also look at the pride that players take from that position onwards. I suppose the easiest thing to do is to throw in the towel and then be bowled up for under 100. But to show the courage, to stick it out there and fight throughout the 50 overs, it's a massive tick in the right direction for Bangladesh cricket. They've come a long way. Have been in many ways blown up front with the new ball by South Africa. And isn't it just good to see the crowds back? They're certainly enjoying themselves.
It's a number. Everybody knows the words to this one, and everybody grooves to it.
We just need a few more to be allowed inside.
Yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be nice. I tell you what, imagine the stands full and everybody throwing some shapes. Others don't quite know how to throw the shapes, they just sit and watch.
Now we even have our producer out in the stand, Bukile Majola.
He's the one saying that he doesn't know how to throw the shapes, he just sits there.
Go on then, get out of the seat.
Would have been close, I tell you. It was a tight one, very tight run. Appeal for LBW given not out. Remember I said no reviews, so can't appeal it and can't have it checked.
And umpire Marie Rasmus not indicating any leg bar, so he's quite confident that it must have come off the glove.
For South Africa and this partnership, 70 from 75, they would like no jitters to finish things off, want to make sure that they get the job done, get through to the end. 30 to get now with that single taken. It was important for South Africa to answer back, having been blown away. That's what happened. They were totally dominated at Centurion in all departments. Nobody out there. Easy pickings. Couple of bounces and it rolls away for 4 more.
Yeah, you're talking about bouncing back, and it's been emphatic from South Africa thus far on this occasion. Shakib Al-Hassan dropping short, and the captain making no mistake. Nobody out there, big space out at deep mid-wicket, and onto it in a flash.
Nice. Yeah, well played. 8 off. It's 170 for 2. Afif. He's going to bowl. Bowls off breaks. Good young player. A really good young player in this Bangladesh side. Turn up in the side as a youngster and be able to contribute in situations that are rather tough. It's good, it's important, and not just once or twice. It seems he's the man for the occasion when times are difficult.
Yeah, and even better when it happens away from home in foreign conditions. Coming to the Wanderers, one of the famous stadiums around the world, obviously famous for its pace and bounce. Being able to tick that box, yes, I can play under those conditions. I think from a young batter's point of view, it's kind of all the boxes you want to tick, different conditions around the world, different countries that are foreign to home conditions.
Yeah, what I really like about him is the attitude. You have the attitude to take on any bowling attack. It's half the battle won. Really shows a lot of courage with the bat, not scared of taking the game to the opposition. It's a fine young talent for Bangladesh.
Oh, wow. Oh, where's that come from?
Quinny and Temba both on the physio's bed this afternoon, swinging their backs out.
Both taking on the long bound.
Yet a bit of extra effort to get it over that fence palm. It's the long boundary he was attempting to have a go at.
We're checking the stumping.
Good bit of glove work, because he'd have been blinded by that shot from Verena.
View for a stumping. I've checked the front foot.
Let's have a little look.
And it is a fair delivery. Can we go on to front on spin vision? Okay, ball is close to the bat. Can we just go to ultra edge? Keep rolling that through, keep rolling. Yep, there's a flat line when the ball passes the bat. Can you give me your side on angle for the stumping? Okay, foot's grounded. Thank you, just go back one side. Foot's grounded when the bails are dislodged. I'm satisfied, I'm ready to make my decision for the screen.
Confirmation. 173 for 2.
Required for South Africa to level the series. It's been a good effort by them. Bowled nasty, set up the match, and Bangladesh 34 for 5. Since then, they haven't really allowed them to fight their way back in. Batting wise, been led by Quinton de Kock at the top of the order. Back into the team today, and 62 really took the game away from Bangladesh. Was scored at a rate of knots.
Yeah, when you lose half of the side so early, batting first, winning the toss, you're out of the game, aren't you? Yes, there was effort from that partnership between Mahmudullah and Afif, and then Afif and Miraj, but not enough runs on the board. That has been the problem. That was a disappointment for Bangladesh. And you mentioned about Quinton de Kock.
Yeah, maiden over the 30th, 173 for 2.
Yeah, I think looking there as well, you look at those front five batters, got a few snorters out there, a couple of keep low, a couple of jump off, grab the top of the bat. Not too much they could have done. Maybe in hindsight, I know that's the way they operate, Bangladesh, squeeze you. Maybe the toss, something they'd look at.
Yeah, it's almost been the case in point that you don't win the toss and make the decision so far in the series because both captains have got it wrong. Bangladesh losing the toss, having to bat first, getting over 300. South Africa losing the toss, bowling first, and having Bangladesh 34 for 5.
And they bowled out South Africa trying to defend 340 for 276 all out in the 49th over. Now that was quite important for Tamim Iqbal to think in that direction instead of opting to bat first. Why not have a go and bowl first? Because knowing that they were under pressure, South Africa were under pressure right from the word go. It was a must-win situation for them, and they've come out quite nicely.
10 dot deliveries in a row here for South Africa. A bit of a surprise considering the field's pretty spread. 4 fielders on the boundary, just the 5 in the inner ring. Eventually the single does come. Reina moves to 46.
Now, these two have complemented each other nicely. Not the biggest guys in stature, run hard between the wickets, put the bad ball away. Eyeing that vacant, sort of the big gap between cow corner and square leg. Hard sweep from a fifth bowling around the wicket.
Sweeps hard again, but no contact made. So just the 1 run from that 31st over, 174 for 2. I suppose also the good news for South Africa is that there's no real issue with that finger for Temba Bavuma. But the test series coming up and some of the players for South Africa will be missing because they'll be heading over to the RPL. So they wouldn't want to be lost one of their star performers in the middle order. Just the 2,000 allowed in today. They're trying to make their best efforts to create a vibe for the South Africans who are cruising at this stage to victory. Just 21 more required.
One more match to be played in the series, of Bangladesh will be going back to the dressing room and the team meetings. We'll be discussing how to go about it in that last match. It's the batting department has been the concern. The moment they start scoring runs, it's a different ball game altogether. That's exactly what happened in the first match.
I suppose the good news for them as well is that they're heading back to Supersport Park, which was the venue of their victory in the first one day. So there might be some good vibes heading around in that area.
I think South Africa have been looking for that wicket to be nice and quick. We were on the slightly end strip there, which is more sort of their provincial wickets. And we saw that other one being prepared. So for South Africa's cause, they want that to be really a fast and a bit of bounce around. Typical South African wicket.
You actually had a look at that one as well. It really looked good. The preparation looked like it was going nasty. Very interesting to see if the cracks develop as they often do. Atmosphere allows a second single for the over. So just 2 from that one. 176 for 2. There is the schedule. 3 one-days followed by the 2 test matches in Durban and Gqeberha. RPL, they mentioned just underneath there, commences on the 26th. That means 5 of the South Africans that would probably have played will not be available. Up, and this could be caught. Yes, it is. Eventually, Temba Bavuma middles one of those sweeps, but unfortunately, he doesn't get enough contact on it to take it all the way. And that's the 3rd wicket for Bangladesh.
Also from people certainly looking at the reaction from the fans here who's come in big numbers to support Bangladesh team. Who would have hoped that they could have maybe perhaps batted a little bit better. Yes, the shot was on. Just the connection. Timing not there. Shariful Islam takes it easy in the end. Bavuma goes for 37. South Africa 176 for 3.
Yeah, it was interesting. It looked like he wanted to go up and over. It wasn't like he was trying to roll the wrists and keep it down.
I think especially from the angle from around the wicket there, it didn't look like it was going to be 6 or nothing. A bit like Quinton de Kock shot. Obviously, he was targeting a little bit straighter. We all know Temba Bavuma, that's one of his strengths. He's a good sweeper of the ball. He's just getting a little bit greedy here, trying to. We'll put it down to the charity. He's trying to hit a 2,000 rand for the charity instead of a 1,000 rand for the charity.
Okay, I think you're clutching at straws personally, but we'll take it. Good catch in the end. He had to cover a bit of ground and be conscious of exactly where that advertising cushion was. Wicket for Afif. And the man who averages 76 comes in at number 5 for South Africa. Rassie van der Dussen been in really good touch. Fresh off a wonderful innings at Supersport Park. There is his facts and figures. That's impressive reading in any terms. Strike rate of 90, averaging over 75, 200s, 1150s, and it's just the 34 games, so basically 150 every 3.
That's how these all-rounders play. 75, averaging 75 as an all-rounder. On the bowling sheet today with a little one-fer.
Yeah, on your theory, he's going to play with a lot of freedom today because he's got a wicket under the belt, so that makes it all worth it.
So he can't play with too much more freedom than he has there. A 90 strike rate at 75.
Now, what he's done so far in the series that he's done really well is just knocking it in the areas. And there's an example of it. Doesn't miss out. We saw 13 dot balls for South Africa over the last 3 overs. Not the case. Van der Dussen straight away picks the gap, striking at 100% stroke rate.
Yeah, I don't know, nice time to come to bat. You expected to finish the game off there. You've actually got more to lose than anything. He'll just knock it around, try and wait for that bad ball. You can see Bangladesh blocked up his good reverse sweeper of the ball. So they carried that slip and they dropped backward point to the boundary, knowing that he likes sweeping, especially an angle. An off-spinner bowling from around the wicket, he's giving you that angle already. So Bangladesh still trying to take some wickets.
That's nicely played. Misfield allows it to go away to the boundary and brings up the 4th one-day international 50 for Kyle Varane. He's played superbly. He's just managed to accumulate the 4 boundaries and 2 sixes. But it was an important little knock in the middle.
That's a very good shot. Picks up his 4th one-day international 50. And it looks solid, didn't he? 62 deliveries with 4 4s and 2 6s. Looked very good indeed.
Yeah, I think he showed his mettle. He showed his mettle in New Zealand as well. Under pressure, hadn't done as well as he'd liked in the test matches. Got a great 100 there. Here, Bangladesh were coming at him. There were a few men around the bat. He looked like he was struggling a little bit. Just showed his mentality there. Just stuck it deep, waited for that bad ball, clipped his bad ball. Same shot, no result. He's got himself a 50. South Africa, 181 for 3.
He's had to also jiggle himself up and down the batting order. He's been at the top, he's been 3, he's been 4, I think. He's even maybe batted 5 and 6 in his short career, so he's adjusted nicely. Taking the applause of the dressing room, and so he should. What are your thoughts on Bangladesh? Maybe just write this game off, not read too much into it. When you 5 down as quickly as they were, you were always on the back foot, and maybe try and just take the confidence from the first game.
Yeah, spot on, Sean, because you really don't want to look back. Yes, there will be discussions in the dressing room and how to cope up against the likes of Kagiso Rabada and company. Rabada picking up a 5 for 39. He was quick, he was sharp, he bowled in the right areas, got the bounce. I think bounce is not a worry for Bangladesh. I think that's the message has to come across from the team management. Because there will be bounce initially. And obviously they'll be looking ahead that we started this series with a win. A historic one for Bangladesh. Yes, not a bad day, not a good day with the bat today. But you need to turn it around when you have another opportunity in a couple of days' time. And that's the biggest challenge.
I think they also might be, I'll get maybe Mackie's thoughts, and they might be, as the batting consultant you used to be for them, they might be getting caught in two minds in the next match in particular. We saw how well they went when they were really conservative up front, and now having lost 5 wickets in short succession, maybe you can pick it up in the next over, Max. That gives you time just to give us a proper thought on it. They've been caught 5 down. It's even more focus on the fact that they want to make sure they don't lose wickets up front, and they might be really, really circumspect in the next game. 181 for 3 after 34. Maiden over, that one from Shakib Al Hasan, second of the match. He finishes his 10 overs, 1 for 33, so a good outing for him. Just the 14 more required. The fact that there's 96 deliveries to do it is basically insignificant. Yeah, so Mac, your thoughts on how they might approach it?
Well, I think if you look at definitely the first 4 dismissals, you've actually just got to say it was you normally say you're on the wrong side of a toss, probably on the right side of the toss because your captain won the toss. But I mean, that wicket looked a lot drier than it normally was, and I thought it was going to play a little bit differently. You've got to be sharp, but he's quick enough. I just think you write the line through and say, guys, listen, we've had an off day. Our top 4, what else could they have done? I mean, Tamim, the captain, he's got 1 to roll at Supersport Park, then he's got 1 to hit the handle. What do you do? I think it's more a case of just, guys, it was a bad day at the office, circumstances in terms of the surface, let's play our cricket. We know we're confident, and let's go to Supersport where we've done really well and do more of the same. You can't try and analyse the batting, there's nothing to analyse. Now, what you can do is take your positives away to say, listen, we bat quite deep. There was another good partnership with the fifth. Mahidi batted beautifully. We got ourselves something on the board. And generally, a Bangladesh side a couple of years ago, 34-5 or whatever it was, you'd be chasing. This game would have been done.
And actually, there won't be any panicking, but there's no change of personnel. You wouldn't think there's anyone they need to replace?
I don't think so. I mean, I really don't think, because it just, as Neil McKenzie mentioned, it's just been a bad day at the office. So you just have to stick to the positives. And you need to back yourself up once you take a decision, like when Tamim didn't decide to bat first. But yes, I reckon they have the ability to come back strongly in the next match. And especially the top order needs to fire up. There will be a bit of a pressure. Obviously, when you start the series with a win, there's so much expectation. They hope that yes, they will play even better. 184 for 3.
He played nicely, so there's quite a few of the batters that have got in amongst a score already on the tour. It's just been the 2 innings, and everyone can really go back to the dressing room with something under the belt. So they've got to have still that self-belief. If they click as a unit, that they can post something substantial once again.
As an exciting talent. Seeing that catch on the boundary there, you see that knock he had, he bowls. It's a really exciting cricketer.
.15 overs to go, just the 11 runs required. Fantastic performance by Katlisa Rabada. Yes, the conditions offered some help, but he was the one who did all the damage up the top. Picked up 3 wickets. Change of bowling, a forced change of bowling. He finished his 10 overs, 1 for 33, so Mamadullah will be now introduced for his first delivery of the match.
And you'll see some toys here. Likes to come in, throw the little sign wider. Now that the game's gone. Balls from behind the stumps. A little bit of a maverick when it comes to the ball.
81 wickets, so it's got quite a bit of experience. It's nicely punched. I think that one could have been the leggy, almost like the quicker leggy.
Are you going to see 6 different balls here?
I think the concern for Bangladesh will also be looking at Taskin Ahmed, because he came out with flying colours in the first match, but he's gone for 41. Yes, he was up against some really good batting from Quinton de Kock. Even if you're trying to defend a low total, you would want your premier bowlers, even not taking wickets, at least creating a little bit more pressure by bowling dot deliveries. He missed that trick today.
I think we saw the potency and how maybe in the next team discussion before the third one-day international, there'll be quite a bit of time spent on Quinton de Kock and what they can do to try and rein his ability to just play with gay abandon. It's punched away, and they consider the second, and I think they could have got back there comfortably. No need for a risk with just 8 required. End of the 36th. 3 runs from the first Mamadullah over. 187 for 3. Calvarena, as we said, has played nicely. A little bit up and down the order. This time he came in at 3, 4 4s and 2 6s. And came off 55 of his 71 deliveries. Played that shot nicely. He's worked the singles well, run well between the wickets. And it's just been a pretty accomplished 50. Seemed to be in control for the full period that he was at the crease. Crowd are starting to chant in the background. They want us to be finished with a bit of a flourish. 8 required. Neil Mackenzie would be thinking singles. I'd be thinking, where's the boundary?
Just a formality from here on.
I tell you, like to finish in style?
Well, if I had an opportunity, yeah, why not? Mid up inside the circle, take him on.
Polly's coming on at me, easy to finish off in style when you're the captain in the next game.
Mac, if you were there at the end trying to finish off a game, you must have had some runs under the belt.
I'll just keep to the game plan. If it's there to hit, I'll hit it. If it's there to take a 1, I'll take a 1, Polly.
Okay, your true personality coming through. 188 for 3. Still 7 required.
You would have picked up 2 wickets in the change him already. He used to walk around there. Why don't you whop him over that side? Walk across the stumps, flick him here.
Just back to your ability. I thought you were capable of a more entertaining brand of cricket. Just been done in singles at this stage.
It's just been an easy sailing, isn't it? You've got to give credit to South Africa, the way they handled the bowlers, especially up front when they picked up those 5 cheap wickets. really denting the hopes of Bangladesh. And then it was all Quinton de Kock show.
It's just over 4 overs since the last boundary was that cut off the back foot by Varina.
Polly, I'm with you. Let's get Betway just to donate some money.
There you go.
Let's get another 1,000 rand in the kitty. 2,000 rand. Finish it off. Maybe 2 boundaries. A 4 and a 6.
Yeah, I knew we could win you over.
Always for a good cause.
Now, I think that the real concern for Betway, as they finished it over with a single 190 for 3, is they might have had a look at the 4-3-8 game and seen how many boundaries there were there, and then try to work out how much money they might have to donate if it was a similar case in point today. I think they might just double their contribution, because it hasn't been a high-scoring affair, this second one-day international. Now the Bangladesh crowd that have gathered in haven't had much to shout about.
Yeah, winning and losing. Bangladesh, the fan of the Bangladesh team of the Tigers.
Yeah, the nice thing is that the series will go down to the wire. It'll be a final, as the inside edge allows for another single. And that's what you want in many ways. You want the pressure situations where teams have to perform on a one-off game. It's always good preparation for tournaments down the line. They won't stop supporting, that's for sure. Short and punched away by Rashid van der Dussen off the back foot for his first boundary of the day. And that takes South Africa to victory. The celebrations can begin. The series is level. Nasty setup for SuperSport Park. And it's been a quality performance by South Africa. Asked to bowl first, they answered the question with 5 initial wickets up front, and that basically set the tone for the rest of the day.
What a start that was by South Africa. 5 down inside the first 13 overs. It's changed complexion since then. Steered for 1. Steered for 1. Steered for 1.
Yeah, it's also the time when do they decide to take on and take a few risks. And it needs to be calculated risk. Picking up
Start that was by South Africa. 5 down inside the first 13 overs. It's changed complexion since then. start that was by South Africa. 5 down inside the first 13 overs. It's changed complexion since then.
Quinton de Kock played a shot there, which was down to third man, but sufficient in front for 4. Usually, these players will have the touch or timing, as if they haven't hit it at all, but it races off to the fence.
Yeah, he's got great hands, this Calverain, and he mentioned it after his maiden Test century in New Zealand a few weeks ago, that he referred to footwork not being a major strength of his, but hitting the ball late under his eyes, and obviously he's got very good hands. And with your point about the placement and the timing, the later you wait for the ball to come, the more you can maneuver it around with your wrist. Behind point, as we saw that little diff touch before earlier in the over, and then this time taking.
And 250s in that combination and a 37 from Timber. So match presentation to hear the thoughts of the captains in play.